is about to start. Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Board Member Estimate Irvin.
Present.
Board Member Keys. Board Member Desome.
Here.
Board Member Galvin.
Here.
Chairman Bieneme.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item 3, can I hear a motion on the minute from October 7, 2019?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to approve the October 7, 2019 minutes. The motion was seconded by Board Member Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion made and approved by a 4-0 vote. Mayor, for the record, Board Member Keys is present as of 5:48.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 1.
Agenda item 1.
Do- Okay, go ahead.
Resolution to approve funding Riva Development for Nomi Lofts, 1046 Northeast 128th Street. A resolution of the chairman and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the funding for Riva Development Corporation in an amount not to exceed $386 and $386,250 for a project providing 5 rental units for low and moderate elderly households located at 1046 Northeast 128th Street, North Miami, Florida. Authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize an agreement with Riva Development Corporation to provide funding for the development of the housing project in an amount not to exceed $386,250. Authorizing the chairman and executive director to execute the agreement. Authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement and providing an effective date.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Good evening. Okay, thank you, sorry. Rasha Kamo, CRA Director. Staff is requesting approval to negotiate and enter into a development agreement with Riva Development Corporation for an amount not to exceed $386,250 for the purposes of building a 5-unit green elderly housing project located at 1046 Northeast 128th Street, known as Nomi Lofts. This project is listed and was approved in the CRA's fiscal year 1920 budget and complies with the CRA's 2016 interlocal cooperative agreement and the 2016 amended plan, which calls for creation of affordable housing initiatives. For your review and approval, attached are 1, a staff memo from the City of North Miami's Housing Division explaining the selection process of Riva Development as the CHODO, which means Community Housing Development Organization, and the funding provided, cost of construction, timeline, and a PowerPoint presentation. Before you is Mrs. Linda Harris, CEO of Riva Development Corporation, and Mr. Don Patterson, and the city staff is also in the audience to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, but before we get, we hear from Riva, but I need the housing department. We have the city have an housing department. You got to, I think they should initiate, even though the CRA is, the funding is coming from the CRA, but the department should be able to tell me why the city should vote for a project like that. Is there a need for affordable housing? And I think I need to hear from the city, especially the department, and to explain to me. Then after that, I will hear from how much is the project? Come. How much is the total project?
It's the total project is $1,064,538.
1,064,000. 1064.
538.
538.
Okay. Where the money is coming from?
Good afternoon, Albert Bazil, Housing and Social Services Director, to the City Manager. This development is, the city is contributing three areas. We are conveying the land, 1046 Northeast, 1048 Northeast 126th Street to Riva Development for the project. We are giving them 60, what was the amount?
And Madam Basil and Mary been working on the project. I know you're new to the department, to the housing department. Can you give an explanation of what it is exactly? Because you've been working the project for quite some time.
Good afternoon. Marie Jane Ferrens, Assistant Housing and Social Services Director, Department. It is a 5-unit elderly, affordable elderly that will be located at 1046 Northeast 128th Street. It is a partnership. We received originally the property that was conveyed to us in term. We demolished the property, and then we have a vacant land right now.
Who own the land?
We do. The city of
The
North
city
Miami,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
And we receive a grant from TD in the amount of $100,000. We use part of
What's
that money.
TD?
TD Bank.
Okay.
And also we use part of the money to demolish the property that was the dilapidated property that was located at 1046. We enter into the agreement with Riva. First, we were trying to enter into a partnership with Opaloka CDC, who was unable to secure financing to have the project to come into fruition. So now, with the help of the CRA, the city of North Miami, and Riva will obtain financing on their own. We have a difference of $386,250 that we'll be able to fit the gap in order for us to get the project to be completed.
Okay, it's $1,064,000.
Yes.
Where the money is coming from? 286 from the CIA, 100 from TD Bank.
I'll go
The
through
rest of the money.
I'll go through it for you, sir. The developer will be securing a permanent loan of $490,000.
They come in
The
with their
developer-
loan for how much?
$490,000.
Okay.
The TD Bank grant funding is $73,090.
Mm-hmm.
We have the HUD Choto set aside that's coming from our federal entitlement of $115,198, and then the CRA contribution of $386,250.
Okay. It's going to be 5 units.
5 units, elderly building.
Okay,
55
55 and plus.
Yes.
Okay. What are the units? The description of the units.
3 units will be set aside to us to exceed 80% annual AMR.
No, how many total units?
Oh, 5
what
units.
What are the description?
We-
1, 2, 2, what?
No, 321 and 311.
311.
And
Yeah.
2 units, a 2-bedroom, 1 bath.
Okay. But Mr. City Manager, and I think that's your responsibility. When every time we have in a presentation, we got to make sure we have all the details. That's when we don't have to ask all those questions in order to get the details of
Well,
the project.
May I address that, sir?
Yes.
We in the briefings, we did provide all of the details, but you also approved this already as city commission.
No, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the
Oh,
public. Sometimes we said we want to build affordable housing, and you just
I got
come
you.
up with $1.1 million, and the public don't know nothing about
we will
the
read
project.
the full staff report next.
Yeah, I know about the project, but sometimes we need to do that for the public. And now I can hear from Riva. That's been, now you're telling me they're contributing to up to $494,000 to the project. Now I want to hear from them.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the entire board. My name's Linda Harris. I'm with Riva Development. As a matter of fact, we celebrated our 15th year anniversary on yesterday. We're a company here in South Florida for the past 15 years, and we have a niche of affordable and workforce housing. As the city manager expressed, we will be obtaining financing from Florida Housing Community Development, which we've already gone through underwriting. They've given us conditions, and we're working on those conditions. Some reports are being given to us. The soil treatment and what have you will be done tomorrow. We're extremely excited about doing this public-private partnership with North Miami. I went to the October 1st NOMI Neighborhood Association. They were extremely excited. They said it was greatly needed. They liked the idea of 55 and up. And I just wanted to show you a brief description of our project. As we said, elderly housing, 55 and up. You know the location, 1046 Northeast 128th, 5 residential apartments. Mr. Mayor would also have a green effect, meaning we will do things to keep their utilities down and light bills down. Of course, everything that's needed to make this green approved. 3 of the units will be 1-1s at 797 square feet. 2 of the units will be 2-1s, 1,132 square feet, and again, green sustainable. That is a conceptual design of it. We wanted to make sure we put greenery and it blended in with the neighborhood. And keep in mind that the end product may differ slightly based on the final approval from zoning and your building department. And we're gonna work very closely with them. That's a brief layout of the first floor, the 1 bedroom, 1 bath. We also wanted to point out that it'll be in a loft style to make the ceilings high, and we want to make it as modern and comfortable as possible. We will also have laundry facilities on the premises as well. That is the second floor, a brief layout of it. And we're very proud that it's over 1,100 square feet. Since the trend is everything's going smaller, we wanted to deliver an excellent product. And then again, as far as our marketing, we don't feel we'll have any problem filling this up. We'll be using social media, the CRA, Instagram to advertise to your North Miami residents that this product is ready for them. Of course, signage on the property. There are some newsletters exclusive to the city of North Miami we will advertise in. And of course, good old word of mouth. So, but we feel as soon as we start building, according to the neighborhood association, they all knew somebody that could use this housing. And then again, the summary, 5 residential apartments, 3 1-bedroom, 1 bath, 2 2-1s with green sustainability, and we're very excited.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's open it for public comments or question. Do we have any question from the public? No. Public hearing is now closed. Member of the dais,
Question?
yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to see there's an elevator. I didn't see it at first. I said, you gotta have an elevator. Where is,
No, we don't have an elevator. It's 2 stories.
it says it's an elevator. The plans are showing an elevator. And I was concerned there wasn't, but the plans do show it.
Oh, yeah.
I wanna make sure there's an elevator if it says. That if you go on the left, that little orange thing sticking down, that's the elevator.
Yep. Parking.
Yeah, I'll say laundry.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, if this is for seniors, how do you not
Yeah.
have an elevator?
Okay, so, and that was a question that we had earlier too. So the thinking is that 55 and older doesn't necessarily mean that folks are disabled. However, the first 3, the apartments on the first floor are 3 units. They will be, in fact, be handicap accessible. So if someone has issues with climbing stairs and may have a need for an elevator, they would be limited to the first floor. The second floor would be folks that have the ability to climb stairs.
so the second floor, the unit on the left has a washer dryer. It looks like there's also a washer dryer on the right unit. Is that correct? On the left, I mean, I don't wanna micromanage your project, but it does say WD, and it's like an identical flip on the right one, same little square, so I assume that's a washer dryer up there?
I'm not seeing the document, the information that you're at. Larry, can you? Yeah, this was an earlier version, the conceptual.
So it's changed?
That was an earlier conceptual of the same floor plan. We'd later gone through and made some modifications. I'm sorry you didn't get the update.
So which version was
Yeah.
publicized publicly? Because if it's something different, then we should postpone this.
Is that different?
Yeah, the biggest difference is what you just pointed out.
The only difference, the only difference is the elevator.
That's a big difference, though, when you talk about public advertisement, to me.
This is, because this is what's, I'm looking at the internet.
Yeah.
So on the top floor, you've got two,
You have, what
You have
you're
washer
seeing is
dryer?
what was- yeah, and that, I do see the washer dryer.
and is there one on the right unit?
Should, yeah, it looks like it.
It's there, it's here in the drawing.
Uh-huh.
So in talking through the conceptual, understand that an elevator cost is expensive. And so we realized that if we've got the benefit of 3 units on the first floor, we could actually make those available for folks that need the benefit of ADA compliance. So what we're doing is we're saving the project roughly about $70,000 by eliminating the elevator. Where you see the elevator, we've instead put in a laundry facility on both the first floor and the second floor.
So if you have laundry facilities on the second floor in both units, you don't need a laundry facility on the top.
You're absolutely right, and I overlooked that. I didn't realize that there were actually washer and dryers in the individual units. The intent is to try to make sure that folks have access to laundry facilities. We just didn't know that they were shown in the floor plans that you're looking at now.
So you don't need elevator on the second floor, I mean, you don't need a washer dryer on the second floor. I would like to see an elevator. If you've got 55 and over, someone might move in and not need it, but all of a sudden they have an issue, they get hurt, they fall, they get sick. I really like to see an elevator for the second.
I guess that's doable, but it's another $70,000, $80,000 for the budget that we don't have.
Well, how much are you saving by not having a laundry room on the top floor?
But not probably.
It's just
So we're building out a room, and then there's the cost of the equipment. So I think we're looking at probably about $10,000 max, and I think that's generous.
I have a question.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
In the price breakdown, I understand that in the plan, the floor plan, we do see the elevator, but in the price breakdown, there is no amount attached to elevator. And I understand it's only 5 units and it's 2 floors. And if you see around the city of North Miami, how many 2-floor building throughout the city who really have an elevator. I really don't see a lot around the city, whether it's Sans Souci or Keystone, all those affordable housing. When it comes to only 2 floor, I don't see any. And when we're talking about also a laundry, if we have a laundry on the first floor, that means putting one on the second floor, that's when it's gonna take space from. They're gonna have a smaller bedroom and to accommodate the elevator.
Actually, my thoughts, and if it's possible, since these are senior housing, why are we having the laundry room outside and not having it enclosed in each of the units? Could we instead?
It's price consuming. If you wanna build a laundry inside of every room, you can do that. It's you bring in affordable. You wanna make sure they have the space. 797 square footage of 1 bedroom. It's very big. That's when if you're gonna have to add a laundry, all you're gonna do, you're gonna have to take another 50 square feet of space to add that. But if it's only 5, understand it's 5 units, and if you have a laundromat on the first floor, I don't think you need one in each room. You can put whatever you want, but it's when it comes to price, that's it's gonna cost more money, whatever we want,
And that was.
and I understand that, but you know, some people will prefer the space. If you're doing 1 bathroom, 1 bedroom for a senior, they prefer the 797 square feet of space and use the laundromat on the first floor than a smaller one and get a laundromat and on each floor.
So I have a
Go
question.
ahead, Pastor, yes.
What would be the extra, what would the difference be, correct, to have it inside of the units versus outside of the units? And could that be something that you would consider for a lot of things, for safety, well, 55 is not that old, but,
but
they're
75
elderly,
is.
but,
Yes, 70.
right. So, and just having to go outside, possibly in the rain, whatever, but, so,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
So the difference in square footage, again, like the mayor said, the research we've done, people would rather have a larger living quarter than to have the space taken up with a laundry room in it. Again, because it's only 5 units, we'll have it where they can enter the laundry room. They wouldn't have to go outside around the building or anything. Of course, it'll be key carded for safety as well. But it would take up almost the size of a mini bathroom, and it'll add to their water bill as opposed to the house water meter. So based on our research, it was just cost effective, not only for the project, but for the tenants as well.
Allow me to add to this. And by the way, thanks, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Honestly,
Before you go, Don, I mean, look, you guys, and it's about as simple as this. We're fine. The board is approving the gap financing on it. If you guys want some of these things to be added to the design, we're
No,
talking about dollars. So
We understand that,
yeah, okay.
but
I just want to be clear that we're not. No one's saying no. It's it's the will of the board. If you guys want to make those modifications, it boils down to a dollar amount.
and
we can
when it
make
comes
it
to
work.
not only the electricity, you're talking about maintenance, more maintenance costs per month in order to run all those laundromat and all those things. Adding luxury, it's good, but the electricity and the maintenance, all those things, we try to build, and I'm pretty much sure the resident rather see 797 square foot of sleeping space for them and the family than do the move for a laundromat. Councilman, you done? Councilman.
Yes, I have a couple of questions. I guess I don't know if it's for you or for the housing department. Out of the 5 unit, well, first question, why only 5 unit? Is it
That was just the capacity of the property.
of the property of
Yeah,
the lot? So
right.
they couldn't go up
No, that is
to third? I'm just asking.
that would add to the cost.
I
That
understand.
and where that is, it's actually adjacent to some single family
Oh,
homes. so
okay. All right.
It's like in the middle of the
No,
middle of the
that's
block,
fine.
just a
You
couple
just
blocks from
answered
here.
that. I thought it was towards the end. I know we're getting 3 units. Is it my understanding?
No, 5.
No?
That's
So
a different
all of
item.
them-
All of
okay.
these are all
The-
affordable.
No, I know, but is this, okay, help me understand. Are we gonna manage it at the end, or they are?
They are going to manage it.
Okay, that's not what I was told during briefing. I thought we were gonna have some say in as far as the residents or all this and all that. 'Cause
We are establishing all of the guidelines, working with the CHOTA under which people are qualified. Like you said, we're focused on city residents. So we're doing all of that. We're not specifically identifying. As part of our agreement or our partnership with REVA and them putting their money into the project as well, they will manage the project, for the affordability
Yeah, well,
period.
that's a big part I did not know during the briefing. It was my understanding. I thought this was something
that they
they
will
were
build and turn
turn it over, or
They will manage it. They will manage it under an agreement that we will have for that time frame.
Okay, I'm also concerned regarding the elevator. I understand the cost saving, but if we're doing it, we are dealing with seniors. I don't know, but
I have to agree with Councilman DeSulme, and I think any other council person that's mentioned it. I'm not comfortable with I'm not comfortable with any living project that doesn't have an elevator for a second floor, simply because of convenience. I think without one, it devalues the property.
I'm sorry. Estimate for an elevator?
Yeah.
70,000 is pretty good.
So if you would like to allow me, unless you want us to bring it back, give me the authorization for the additional dollars associated with getting the elevator. And if you want at the next meeting, I can come back with a report to the council, if you so choose, and then it'll be part of the project.
Yeah, but understand that I agree with you, but you need the elevator, you need the stairs. That means you're gonna have to take away. Are you gonna take away the size
No,
of
well, if you
the
look
units?
at no. If you look at the unit, the elevator shaft, or what would be the elevator shaft, sits away from the building, from the main square of the building. So it'd be almost like you coming to the end of the hall and you'd have the elevator shaft standing by itself with the equipment. So I don't think that would affect your building square footage whatsoever, or your livable space at any unit.
Do you need 2 staircases if you have a staircase and an elevator?
Do we need
You need a stair.
one or the other? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no.
I'm
two-
saying
two
this is-
staircases.
This is showing 2 staircases.
Oh.
So you've got 2 apartments upstairs. I don't think you need 2 staircases and an elevator.
No, you need one.
So you would save
I-
room downstairs where you would have some room to put the laundry room, and you'd save on a staircase, and you'd save on the washer dryer up there that you were planning.
Okay, so
That's not that much, but.
it's not, there's not that much of a savings. And let me think out loud for a second, okay? So here's what we're doing. The cost for an elevator is going to be an additional $70,000 to the budget. It's got to come from somewhere. In thinking that through, you might want to consider the fact that ridership of that elevator, you're talking about 2 units on the second floor. How many trips to the elevator up and down are likely to occur
it's
as a
not
result
about the
of?
trips, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. I'm thinking about the cost.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
If I move in, and I'm 65, and God forbid I'm in a wheelchair, I don't think the cost is something that we need to. It's not. It's really, and us as policymakers, we need to think ahead of that, because we don't know who's coming in, the conditions. God forbid, we will hope they don't use it, but we can't say because we assuming, that's just what it is.
Okay.
So-
That means we're gonna ask the CRA to find the rest of the money. Yes. Wait, are you done with?
I'm done.
You
sir.
done with the question?
Yes.
You done with the presentation, right? Yes, sir. You have anything to add, Mr. Manager?
No, just I'm open to the guidance. We'll work and find.
We're gonna approve the project like that, and we're gonna ask the CRA to seek for the rest of the money.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can I make a quick suggestion? I just so I would feel comfortable, because I'm not there yet right now, and I want to be in accordance with everyone. If we could bring it back and advertise it properly with the elevator, have these plans, Mr. Mayor, if you allow. You see what I'm saying?
No, I
Have
do.
it, and then we'll revise the course, whatever the case is, because too often, because we had the wrong plan, and I was under the impression,
That the
and I
elevator
don't
there.
feel, no, not even that, but other
Oh,
things.
the
So,
ownership.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but
Which I'm okay
I
with.
do understand that, but the price does not include that. It's been too long that we need those 5 units and wait for another month and we're gonna have to wait for another CRA to approve that, just for the floor plan and in the breakdown of the price sheet breakdown, this does not include the elevator. We just now add it to it. That's mean if we're gonna look for the money and add it to it, that's mean we solve the problem, right? If the CRA gonna look for the money, that's mean we solve the problem. That's mean it was advertised with the elevator, and from what I understand, we're gonna add it unless the CRA director think we shouldn't move forward with it. You okay with that?
I'm okay with
Mr.
that.
Attorney.
What I'm thinking, Mr. Chairman, is that if you want to, in your discretion, approve what was presented, the $386,250 plus the cost of an elevator as
Yes.
Determined by the executive director based upon submissions by the applicant.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion on
So
if we're
moved.
done?
Second?
I have a motion made by Board Member Keys to approve the agenda item 1. Plus the cost-
I stated by the CRA attorney with the amendment.
Yes, I was going to say that. Plus the cost of the elevator in the amendment as stated by the CRA attorney. The motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay?
May I ask one question?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. It's passed. 4 parking spaces for 5 units. Is that adequate?
Based on the city code, we can use ridership, meaning if you have a bike rack or other items, then we can reduce the parking per the city
For
code.
seniors? Get,
Again, it's per the city code, we can reduce, and we check with zoning on that.
Thank you very much.
Motion made and approved by a 4-1 vote.
Item B.
Agenda item 2, resolution to approve Golden Hill TIF Infrastructure Grant Request 12280 Northeast 6th Avenue. A resolution of the chairman and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving an award of an infrastructure grant in the amount of $608,871 and a tax increment recapture incentive of 50% of projected ad valorem revenues to West Park Investments LLC for a 20-unit residential rental project located at 12280 Northeast 6th Avenue, North Miami, Florida. Authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize agreements with West Park Investments LLC for an infrastructure grant in the amount of $608,871 and a tax increment recapture incentive of 50% of projected ad valorem revenues for the development of a 20-unit residential rental project. Authorizing the chairman and executive director to execute the agreements. Authorizing the executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreements and providing an effective date. Agenda item 2.
Staff is recommending approval to negotiate and enter a grant agreement with West Park Investments LLC for an infrastructure grant request not to exceed $608,871 and a tax increment financing refund of no more than 50% of the future taxes projected for this project until 2042. West Park Investments LLC owns 3 parcels located at 12280 Northeast 6th Avenue, 12290 Northeast 6th Avenue, and 540 Northeast 123rd Street, which have remained vacant for over 2 decades. They intend to build a 5-story building with 20 apartments and retail on the first floor. This new structure will comprise of 12 2-bedrooms and 8 3-bedrooms, ranging between 925 to 1,215 square feet. Ground floor will have a coffee shop and a salon, spa, and administrative offices. The total cost of the project is estimated at $5,620,703. For your review and approval, attached you will find the funding request from Business Flair, who's representing West Park Investments, outlining the current conditions of the property, the proposed development, and the future economic impact for this corridor. Additionally, West Park Investments LLC proffered to make available 3 of the 20 units for qualified low-income tenants recommended by the City of North Miami Housing Division.
Thank you very much. Do I present?
We do have a presentation.
Can you identify yourself, please?
Certainly. Good evening. My name is Kevin Crowder. I'm the principal of Business Blair. It's nice to see you all. I haven't been in this room in a while. I am here, as Ms. Camo said, representing West Park Investments, who does own the property. And they've gone through their approvals, the majority of their approvals. The project right now is in fire over at the county, but very close to being ready. Also in the process of trying to get the financing secured. This is one of those important steps for that. You can see a rendering of the project. As Ms. Camo said, it's a 20-unit project, 12 2-bedroom, 2-bath units, 8 3-bedroom, 2-bath units. It's just a little more marketing information there. You all know the site. This is the southwest corner of Northeast 6th Avenue and 123rd Street. I'm sure you've all driven by it a long time. As was mentioned, it's been vacant for 20 years. The condition, again, you're all familiar with what it's looked like in contributing to the blight and the reason that you have a redevelopment area in this area. The site plan, the ground floor, has the amenities that were mentioned, which is a coffee shop, salon and spa. It's got a recreation room. It's got a fitness center. Here's an example. This is the 2-bedroom floor plan. This is a 925 unit, 925 square foot unit. And then the 3-bedroom is 1,215 square feet. Just some of the general information. It's a 30,000 square foot site. The building itself will be a little bit over 21,000 square feet. The team West Bank Investment, so here today, Ms. Mika Liu, she and her father own West Bank Investment and have significant experience developing a lot of multifamily housing and projects in China. Consulting Group, Guillermo Solano is here. They're the architects for the project, and so they're able to answer any questions you may have there as well. Norway Style Design is doing the interiors. Locally based, South Florida-based Seacoast Construction is the GC. We were working with Paul International to find the financing and have now got the lender that we're in negotiations with for the construction loan. In looking at the market potential, we really like, and we talked a lot about this when the CRA plan was done, we really like the potential of this location because of the access you have to so many different South Florida amenities or destinations, places people need to get to. Your proximity to I-95, your proximity to Biscayne Boulevard, to the universities, to the state park. And then of course everything that you've got downtown with your Museum of Contemporary Art, everything you're working on downtown just is another amenity that makes this project attractive. Looking at the rent trends, we've seen the rent trends growing, and we see supportable rents here. We do still have a challenge, and the reason for the infrastructure grant and the TIF grant is that financial feasibility. We see the market feasibility of the project, but we've got that gap to close. We looked at some competition, but what you see in the deeper report is there's not been a lot of new construction of multifamily in North Miami, especially in this area, in a long time. And so this is really a new product. To a certain extent, it's going to be an untested product. You do have a project there at, I believe, 121st and 5th, and they're getting rents in the same range we're targeting, which is between about $1.40 a foot to about $1.68 a foot. We also like the market position and that potential, because you've seen how redevelopment and revitalization has been sort of marching up, almost up that FEC corridor. And you're right in just a prime location to take advantage of that and get this additional investment that you're already seeing happening. And then back in the summer, the Miami Herald interviewed about 100 real estate professionals in Dade County just to get their thoughts. And you'll see that when they asked what's the most undervalued neighborhood, North Miami came up top. And then when they talked about if you were going to tell a client where they should invest for the next 5 years, you weren't at the top, but you're there. You're in that list that people are talking about. So again, that market potential we think is there, and especially for a smaller project. It's only 20 units. It's not a big project that's going to have a lot of absorption. So the development cost, the land was purchased about 4 years ago for $500,000. Design so far, actually, it's over $200,000 at this point. And then the construction cost estimate right now is about $5.6 million. Working on that's our closest where we are on the equity versus debt right now. That's always going to be in flux. And then the infrastructure grant request is $608,000, and that's for paving, sidewalks, curb, the utility connections, those types of things. In addition to the $600,000 and those infrastructure costs, we're at right now looking at between city, county, everything involved at about $325,000 in impact fees that needs to be added to the development cost. Current value is $332,000 on the 3 parcels. Our projected taxable value is 4.4 upon completion. So that gives an increment that generates the TIF to the CRA of about 4.1. This is another one that's always up and down and going back and forth because we're always playing with the spreadsheets and the pro formas. But in looking at how do we fill this gap, and we're targeting for this project, we need to hit between about a 7 and a 9 or 10 almost return on equity. And you see, and there's a lot more detail in the application, that as we get the infrastructure request, which helps the equity requirement upfront cost to the project, and then with the TIF, over the first 10 years, we're able to get into that target range that justifies the risk of the project. So our estimate on the TIF incentive, you'll see what that would mean every year, and that's a 50% incentive. So that would be both the estimated amount each year that would come to the project, and also it represents the amount that would stay with the CRA. At a net present value, I think a 5% discount rate, the total of $700,000 came to about $460,000. We did run an economic impact analysis on it, and what that showed was estimated job generation of 68 jobs, with 46 of those direct. You may have more, actually. This is the one-time impact during construction, with a total economic output of almost $9 million. And when we talk about those jobs, one thing is we're going to work with our contractor, both under the terms of your program, the efforts that we can do to employ North Miami residents and residents of the CRA, but also work with our contractor when it comes to a job fair to help fill those jobs. And then even once the building's open, even though it's an apartment building, it still has an economic impact. You still have rent being paid. You still have residents living in there who are spending their money in the community. And so there's still a little bit of employment associated with that. You've got the internal amenities that are in the building. And then about $1 million every year in economic impact back into the community once the building is up and running. So in conclusion, it's a 20-unit building. It's almost $7 million total investment. One thing we like is it's on the west side of 6th Avenue. It's a very visible corner that needs a lot of improvement. But it also shows that your CRA can generate investment interest on that side of 6th Avenue, not just in the core of your downtown. So it shows that the CRA can have that larger impact throughout a community, not just in that core. We have that economic impact that I just discussed. The CRA support is critical. We do have the 3 of the 20 units set aside for affordable housing. Another thing we like about it, we do think it can appeal to a lot of different markets. It may appeal, a 2-bedroom may appeal to 2 students that want a room together from Johnson and Wales. But we also think, and we see this in a lot of CRAs that I've worked in, is you end up with a lot of older housing stock or you end up with a lot of multifamily smaller units, one bedrooms and studios. And you want to provide opportunities for your residents as they become upwardly mobile and as they grow their incomes, a place that they can move to and stay in their community, rather than look to move somewhere outside of their community where they can find that building that they're looking for. And again, we think that with it only being 20 units, we can market it very well. And I believe that concludes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is now closed. Council members. Does District 3?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
May I? Oh, sure. Thank you so much for your presentation. Just a couple of questions. I know you said 3 units are set aside for affordable housing. When do you anticipate, if approved tonight, when do you anticipate that you'll start?
As I said, we're in permitting for fire, so we're hoping to start at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And then we're looking at about a 12-month construction timeline.
Okay. And then you did mention that with the construction company, there's a possibility of about 68 jobs, and you would do a job fair to get as much local employment.
Right.
Okay.
We will do the job fair as part of, to target your local residents, match them with the construction company.
Okay.
Yep.
That's just one. That's all my questions are, statements.
Thank you. Councilman, there's no question.
I have questions. So I didn't hear that. So there's only going to be 3, so this is not an affordable project?
This is not. This is a market rate project. But in terms of when it's a market rate project, but as I mentioned, we were having that gap problem, and that's the reason we're requesting the incentive. In exchange for the incentive, my client proffered 3 of the 20 units as affordable housing units.
Okay.
So it's more of an, sorry, it's more of an inclusionary type project in a market project rather than an affordable project.
Okay, so through the mayor to our director, is this the first tax incentives we've given in the CRA?
Yes.
So this is an $803,000 incentive we're giving for the present value of $480,000.
Actually, it's actually lower than that. I know that you did the calculation based on the gross.
700 and something.
The infrastructure is 608, and the net value
Was 7.
is 460.
460.
460, but
For
a
the
total,
tax?
but over 20
20
years,
years.
Over
it's gonna
20
be
years, yes.
803. So, Mr. Attorney, through the mayor, is there some kind of agreement we're supposed to be giving, like for resale or anything else on this property, and making sure we keep the 3 affordable units? So, I mean, no matter what, they get a 50% tax incentive? 50% tax incentive?
As part of the agreement, as in the past we've discussed, we put a declaration of covenants and restrictions on the property, restricting 3 of the units to whatever affordability standard that the CRA is requiring. And of course, there's a clawback provision if that's not met. So that would run with the property for the affordability period.
Okay, and our grant of 680, 608, is that paid back, or is that just
No, it's a
forgiven?
grant.
It's a grant?
But in this particular case, since we have 2 incentives, there'll be 2 separate agreements. There's the infrastructure grant agreement, there's the tax rebate incentive grant agreement. They would be cross-defaulted. So if there's a violation or uncured default on one, there's a default on the other. Basically the remedy with respect to a grant agreement default is repayment of the grant. But presuming that there's no default, it's a grant, and that's the nature of it.
So what would
It's
be?
not a loan.
So it's a grant, and if the property's sold, it just stays with the property? Or is there a-
That
or
would,
is
it
a
would be
holding
part of the
period?
covenant, and it would be, the obligation of the new owner to maintain the affordability of those 3 units. If that affordability is not maintained, there's a default, and the remedy would be at that point, they would have to repay the grant back.
And they can sell this in 2 years also, with,
No, with the grant, there's a 5-year period
It's 5 year?
Yeah, there's 5 years on your rehabilitation, your infrastructure, your business attraction. The only one that's less is the beautification, which is a smaller grant, and that's a 3-year period.
So is this forgiven like 1/5 every year, or?
No, no, it's the full amount would be due and payable if they default.
If they don't hold it, okay.
Correct.
And if they don't hold it for 5
Yeah,
years?
we don't, our grant agreements do not have basically a step down or a burn off of the grant amount.
And that includes sale of the ownership of the
Yes, it does.
entity?
Either in one transaction or multiple transactions. If they sell more than 49% of the interest in the entity that owns the property.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And I have a quick question. Affordable housing is gonna be, what will be the term for the 3 units affordable?
It's a 20-year, it's a 20-year affordability period.
Okay, for the life of the CRA. And a quick question for the developer. Since the city participation represent 1/5 of the funding for the project, can affordable be 1/5, like at least 4 units affordable?
I'd have to talk to my client about that. We'd really have to run numbers on that to be
Yeah.
able to tell.
Yeah, because based on the
And I think that
tax
since,
incentive and the infrastructure grant, and that represent
and I think
about
that
1/5 of the project.
And to get to the mayor's goal, and I figured you might do this, can we talk about looking at the level of subsidy? So maybe we'll give you, it won't be a deep subsidy, maybe it's 100% of AMI or something, something within the affordable realm. So it's a softer landing for that 4th unit.
yeah, give me just 1 second, I can check on that. And the way the costs have come up since I wrote the letter, we're at really about 1/6, almost 1/7. Just, but
Talk to
4 units is fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I hear a motion on the item to approve? If we don't have any questions?
Good job.
Yes, thank you.
No,
Yes.
I do. So what basically changed? Because I
Instead
did.
of 3 units,
Yeah,
it's
that
gonna
one
be
unit.
No,
4
no.
affordable.
I know what I'm saying. I had a meeting
Oh.
with you, and I did ask that very question, and I specifically asked if we can have more units.
right.
And so I just want to know for the record what changed, because I always ask for more affordable units.
I think part of it is my client just listening to the conversation in person here, but I think it's also the executive director's comment about being able to fill that gap in going up to 100% of AMI. That gives us a little more cushion in the rents and in the income. That I think my gut tells me we can do it, and we can probably work the numbers somewhere else under that condition.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I would. I think we'd probably need to do that. We will run the numbers to make sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
I'd
If
like
we
to
don't have any
I'd like to
question-
make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion already.
No, we do not.
No, we don't.
No, we don't? Oh, okay, sorry.
I have a motion made by Board Member Estimate Irvin to approve the agenda item 2 with 4 units. The motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion made and approved by a 5-0 vote.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item 3, Advisory Committee nominations. Jerome McCain.
I'd like to make a motion to approve,
To appoint who?
to appoint, what is his name? I'm sorry, Rachel. Yes, please.
Who?
Jerome
Here.
McCain.
Is there an application or resume or something?
It's been here several times.
Where?
It's not in my agenda.
Oh, it's online. I don't. really feel it is online.
I'd second that.
Thank you.
I have a motion made by Board Member Estimate Irvin to appoint Jerome McCain to the Community Redevelopment Agency's Advisory Committee. The motion was seconded by Board Member Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion made and approved with a 5-0 vote. Agenda item 4, presentation of Nomi Red Garden, 12351 Northwest 7th Avenue. Agenda item 4.
Yes, sir. Good.
Good afternoon, Arthur Sawyer, Deputy City Manager. I'm here today to talk about the Nomi Red Garden. You guys know it as the Denmark property. Property's been there several years since I was a kid. I know that earlier this year, you guys have the presentation up there also. I know earlier this year, the actually City Council Board approved the leasing of the property as we did work out a deal with the owners of the property. So the city now has control for the last 4 months of the property. And moving forward, staff, as everyone is well aware of, we've had discussions of a container park, several things. We did go visit one. And now we're, after going over the cost of the container parks and everything, staff has come up with a project to move forward with at an acceptable amount, a phase 1 of the project, I will say, and we'll decide if we move forward after phase 1. So here you'll see the site on your second page of the presentation, located 12351 Northwest 7th Avenue. And basically, we're looking now to do an event space there. Work that needs to be done. We have, lot clearing and cleaning. All the statues are still there. Plumbing, underground electrical, work at the parking lot, stage of the site as a temporary event space. I know I've, spoke to everyone regarding the space. The additional thing that we're going to do there, and it actually comes in line with one of the things that's outlined in your CRA plan, is a Music City plan. That is outlined in our CRA plan that we needed to address. We say we're going to do a Music City. So this will be the first event space that we will do on 7th Avenue. It'll be food trucks, cultural events, and other programming. One very big thing that's there is the CRA is going to do a food truck incubator space. Basically, we will have food trucks there, but it'll be an incubator space for people who are local residents, businesses looking to start food business. We'll have an incubator space where they can use our facilities to perfect their craft. The next page is our preliminary site plan. And this was done by our architect that is working on the 7th Avenue area. So as you can see, it's basically the lot is out. We have some sun sails over the area where the food trucks will be at, and then the huge box there is an outdoor tent. We do have the city stage that we will be using to go under there whenever we do have events, but there's other incubator spaces around, as you can see in the item. Now again, this is our preliminary layout. The main thing now is getting the lot cleared and ready for us to move forward. Several of these sites already exist. There's the Wynwood Yard that everybody knows, the Urban and Overtown, and the Wharf. We'll be moving forward with our own site. One of the unique features that'll be on our site, again, will be the statues that are already in place. There are several statues on the site. Staff right now is actually talked with art restorers, and we're looking at restoring some of the bigger statues and using them as artwork inside the facility. What is our ask? Right now, we're asking for the authority to spend no more than $500,000. We'll be working with procurement to acquire the special services we've talked about, lot clearing, the tent, getting the site set up to restore the artwork, but to get all this site set up ready for pop-up events, cultural exchange events, and also to make sure that we're ready. We will be leasing the space out for someone for the Super Bowl. Again, we're asking for $500,000 to move forward. This is in the CRA plan already for us to have the Music City and to do a cultural site, and I'll turn it over to the manager to add to it now.
Just very quickly, and I know in one of my meetings, particularly with Councilman DeSume, the issue around ensuring, I know we have the Music City north of this site, so this would be, I want to clarify this is not us placing it, we're not changing it. This is just a temporary use for now. The intent would still be to have Music City in the northern part of the CRA that has already been discussed. And the other thing I wanted to remind and put on the record, remember in our settlement with the Denmark family, the cleanup of the site, the moving of the statues were all requirements of the settlement agreement. So we are, you've kind of had this item before you again previously, and we're moving that, trying to move that plan forward. So your full consideration of this not so minor request would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is now closed. District 4, Councilman Dejeune. That's your district. That's where we.
Yes, I know. If I could hear other members, I would, yeah.
Do you have some?
No questions.
Carol,
Sounds good. Just a question on the food trucks. Do they
Yeah.
have to be incubator, or could a already established food truck operator?
We will have some established food truck operators there as well, but in addition, we will have incubator spaces as well.
And when you say incubator, are we gonna buy food trucks for other people to use?
We won't, the people who already have their trucks, they'll bring them there. The spaces, we will put a space in place for the people to use.
at a fee.
Yes.
We'll work through all that, and keep in mind, our food truck use allowance is temporary in nature. So they'll just literally be, it's not that they'll have a food truck that will sit there and operate every day. It will be still associated with an event, because we do have that, that disallowance, if you will, under our
But I'm
code.
saying, but are we gonna purchase food trucks?
No,
for
we're
people?
not. This is working with
That was my question.
working with up and coming entrepreneurs
Rentals.
and rentals, if you will.
Okay, thank you.
So if approved tonight, when will it start?
We will probably be starting on Monday,
And when will
if
it
not
end?
sooner. I project best case scenario will be done by December 31st with the complete lot clearing, the land leveled off, and we should be close to done by the first week of January with everything in place.
Everything in
fir-
place, meaning similar to the design that you've shown us?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we having any containers?
And you,
Sorry.
We believe we will have. We're still working on that part of it now. We're not finalized with it. I think we are going to have the containers, but right now the main focus is to hurry get the lot cleared. That's the main part of us moving forward right now.
Can I say something? And thank you, Vice Mayor. I am totally opposed to the container. I think you and I and the manager, we had, I like the wharf, the what is it, the wharf downtown, the tent, and their food containers are decent, very, very, very nice. And we saw a couple of nice ones, but you know, I just want the board to know, I am learning about it, as you guys know, and but I did tell staff that I would give them, well, last week, but I'm saying, we had previous, because I'm excited, at least they working on something. This is not my initiative, but I'm supporting them to.
Temporary, sir.
Temporary.
Temporary.
I am supporting them,
Moving
and
the
that's
ball
the deal
forward,
that, yes,
right.
that I said I would do, to, hopefully this would turn out to be, as they promise, exciting, but there's nothing there. So if everybody's okay with it, I'm okay, but I'm
but
going
the
whatever
point
the
is,
board is going, sir.
but we are paying rent every month. What do we list it at the first place if we didn't know what we were gonna do there? That's the problem. We are paying about $7,000 every month for it. We got to do something, and I think it's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, I didn't know about the food trucks. I thought you were gonna do like Wynwood yard, like a mural where people can come rent, like a rooftop style, and then
Well, it
for
definitely will
events
be
and
exactly what you're saying. It's going to be an event space where we will rent the space out. I mean, we're not in the business of running or throwing events, so it'll be a space that we will be renting out. I'm stopping there.
Behave.
that's gonna be a rental style, okay. But but as far as design, you're gonna say inside the
let-
Chinatown style.
Not necessarily. It's gonna be, like we said, it's gonna be the Music City. And as we do develop whatever theme that we are gonna use, we will be talking with you guys as we move forward, especially
Okay.
with the District 4 representative.
Okay.
When we move forward, just the theme and the feel of the space.
I pivot back to it's temporary. So
Yes, I like that.
we will
No,
have
but
a
it's a
tent.
tem-
No, and
The
there's a
lease
reason why
agreement's a temporary.
Right. I say that
thing.
because we have an agreement that says that's how we will use it, one. But two, temporary does include the tent. Like, so if you've been to the wharf, you see they do have, and we've talked to some operators about getting a tent that would potentially be enclosed. So we know it's hot here.
When it's
Yeah,
needed.
so when we're done. So again, those are the numbers we're drilling down on. And I want to keep my commitment to the district council person, temporary, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be artificial turf instead of
Once we
instead
get the
of
land
concrete.
leveled, we have looked at artificial turf to be the land covering, the ground covering. Yes, sir.
Okay, and we're gonna have
The
green
one
way
thing,
around.
when you do say the food trucks, and we've met with zoning and everybody and building, these spaces, these places where people are going to be cooking need to have wheels on them for us to move forward at a faster thing. If you're building permanent structures, then you're dealing with Durham and everything.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
why we're moving.
We're
with
talking
the
about
food
nice
truck.
truck coming
Yes.
in and out for
Yes.
3-4 hours and
And
call
just
it
so
a
you
day.
know, I think you saw it, the wharf, their food containers are actually food trucks. They just have the wheels covered, so you can't see them.
Think no other questions. Can I have your motion?
So moved.
Second.
Let's say the district.
I have a motion to approve the agenda item 4 made by Board Member Galvin. The motion was seconded by Board Member Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion made and approved by a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and it's 6:54, and we have to move forward. Can I hear a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
I know Scott
All in
was gonna
favor?
say that.
All opposed? Motion made and approved by a 5-0 vote, 6:54.